All right, so we're diving deep today into the financial side of dating.
Uh-huh.
That money stuff can get kind of tricky in relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got this article here. It's called The Financial Burden of Dating: Understanding the Real Cost of Loving Some Women. And, well, the title, I gotta say, it's a bit much.
Yeah, it kind of jumps out at you, doesn't it?
It does, but I think it's a good starting point
Okay.
for talking about finances and relationships more broadly.
Yeah, I can see that.
So instead of focusing on just one gender,
Right.
let's use this article to look at, those money dynamics that can
Okay.
come up in any relationship.
Sure.
We've all got our own quirks and habits, right, when it comes to money.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes those differences,
Yeah.
that can cause a bit of friction.
Totally.
Yeah.
So let's unpack some of these insights from the article and
All
see
right.
what we can learn
So good.
about the financial side of dating. The article dives into this whole idea of a financial burden,
Yeah.
and it really focuses on women. Specifically, it talks about women with expensive tastes and unrealistic expectations.
Interesting.
What do you make of that?
Well, it is interesting how they phrase it,
Yeah.
Instead of calling someone's preferences a burden,
Right.
maybe it's more helpful to approach it from understanding,
Okay.
because everyone comes into a relationship with their own unique set of financial values and habits,
I see.
shaped by, upbringing experiences,
Yeah.
even broader cultural messages.
That's a good point. So instead of judging someone's preferences, we should try to understand
Yeah.
where those ideas come from.
Exactly.
It makes me think about couples who clash over vacation styles.
Uh-huh.
One person wants, that all-inclusive resort.
Oh, yeah.
The other is thinking budget camping trip.
Right.
If they don't talk about it,
Oh, that's
disaster waiting to happen.
big trouble, yeah.
Right.
And that lack of communication is one of the key things
Yeah.
that the article talks about.
Yeah, it mentions 4 main culprits:
Okay.
unrealistic expectations, expensive tastes,
Right.
lack of communication, and then societal pressure. That societal pressure thing really gets me.
I get it.
It feels like we're constantly bombarded with images,
Well, yeah.
extravagant lifestyles, celebrities spending tons of money, and there's this pressure to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah. Even in dating.
Even in dating, what do you think about that?
It's true. The media definitely plays a role
Yeah.
in shaping our perceptions of what's normal or even desirable when it comes to dating.
Right.
You see these images of lavish dates and expensive gifts, and it can create pressure,
Yeah, especially early on.
especially in those early stages. Yeah,
People might feel like they have to impress.
exactly.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Those expectations, from movies and social media,
Right.
they seep into real-life dating.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of real-life experiences, the article goes on to talk about the consequences of these financial strains.
Okay.
It mentions things like stress, debt,
Yeah,
resentment,
definitely.
even a feeling of limited freedom
Yeah.
in the relationship. Have you seen these things play out in your work?
Oh, absolutely. Financial stress is like a leading cause
Wow.
of relationship conflict.
Totally.
Yeah, it creates this undercurrent of tension,
I can imagine.
arguments, resentment, even a sense of being trapped.
It's like that couple,
Uh-huh.
Jamie and Emily, from the article.
Oh, yeah, I remember them.
Jamie felt so resentful of Emily's spending habits.
Right.
But they never talked about
I
it.
don't know. And
Yeah.
all that unspoken resentment
Yeah.
just built up
Until,
huge blow up.
oh, wow.
Their story shows just how important it is
Yeah,
to address those financial differences early on.
for sure. If they'd been more open and honest
Yeah.
about their expectations and anxieties,
Right.
they might have avoided a lot of heartache
Absolutely.
down the line.
Yeah. Exactly. And that brings us to the solutions the article talks about instead of dwelling on the negative.
Yeah, let's shift gears
Yeah, let's focus on what we can do.
to prevent these financial strains,
Right.
or at least mitigate them,
Yeah, happily.
What are some key takeaways there?
Well, let's see.
From what I got from the article, it's all about open communication,
Mhm.
setting realistic expectations,
Yeah.
having a budget,
Right?
and prioritizing financial freedom.
And those expert quotes were really helpful.
I know, right? Like what Farnoosh Torabi said.
Oh, yeah, about communication early on.
Yeah, she said, and I quote, "Couples should discuss their financial expectations and boundaries early on to avoid financial stress."
So important.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Helen Fisher chimed in
I remember that, yeah.
with, it's essential for couples to prioritize financial freedom and autonomy in their relationship.
It all comes down to shared values.
Yeah.
And that willingness to work together.
Not necessarily having identical incomes.
Or spending habits, right?
Exactly.
It's more about like being a team.
Yeah, a financial team.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's not about being carbon copies of each other,
Yeah.
but finding a way to navigate those differences
Yeah.
with respect and communication.
Wouldn't have said it better myself.
And the article gives this great example.
Okay.
Alex and Maddie,
Oh, right.
they had to work through some stuff
They did, yeah.
because of Maddie's more expensive tastes, but they found a compromise
Yeah, they did.
that worked for both of them.
They were open about their needs,
And expectation.
and they figured out how to enjoy their time together without breaking the bank.
Exactly. It just shows that even when you have different preferences,
Yeah.
communication and compromise can make a huge difference.
Huge.
It's like proof that it's possible.
Totally.
And it highlights another point, too.
Okay.
These conversations about money,
Yeah.
they might feel awkward at first,
Uh-huh.
but they are so essential
So essential, yeah.
for a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Ouch.
Right. It might sting,
Yeah.
but then you can heal.
And move forward.
Okay, so we've talked about the pitfalls,
Hmm.
financial strain in dating,
Yeah.
the importance of communication.
So important.
But now we want to dive a little deeper into the practical side.
Sounds good.
Besides budgeting and communicating,
Right.
what are some specific steps people can take to be more financially compatible
That's a great question.
in their relationships?
You know, one thing people often overlook
Okay,
is understanding their own financial psychology.
financial psychology.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about your money scripts?
My what?
Your money scripts.
No, really?
It's basically the beliefs and attitudes we develop about money,
Oh.
often based on like early experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And these subconscious scripts,
Right.
they can have a huge impact on how we approach finances as adults.
Wow. I'm intrigued. Even in our romantic relationships.
So before we can even have a productive conversation with a partner about money,
Yeah,
we need to be honest with ourselves
exactly.
about our own relationship with money.
You got it.
And sometimes that means digging a little deeper, figuring out where those beliefs and patterns come from.
Right, like a little self-exploration.
Okay, so let's say someone's done that.
Okay.
They understand their own financial psychology better.
Mm-hmm.
How do they bring that awareness into their relationships?
It goes back to communication,
Okay,
but it's more than just sharing your salary
right.
or monthly expenses.
Got it.
It's about being vulnerable,
Okay,
sharing those deeper feelings and beliefs
I see.
you've uncovered about money.
So it's about the why
Yes.
behind our financial habits.
Exactly.
Not just the what.
Precisely.
I like that. Like imagine a couple.
Got it.
One person is super meticulous,
Okay.
tracks every penny.
Yeah.
The other is more free-spirited,
Right.
prioritizes experiences.
If they don't understand those reasons, those different approaches,
Yeah,
it could lead to conflict.
big time.
That's a really good example.
Yeah.
It shows how important it is
Right?
to understand each other's, what was it?
Financial love languages.
Yes,
Mhm.
financial love languages.
Exactly.
But I'm also thinking about those specific situations
Mm-hmm.
that could be tricky to navigate, especially early on.
Oh, yeah.
Like who pays for what on dates?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
How do you figure that out?
The best approach is to be upfront
Okay.
and have an open conversation.
Like how would you start that conversation?
You could say, hey, I'm really saving up for insert financial goal, so I'm kind of mindful of my spending.
Yeah.
How do you usually approach things?
Wow, that's a great conversation starter.
It's casual but honest,
Yeah.
right from the start.
I like that. It takes the guesswork out of it,
Right.
avoids those awkward moments.
Yeah, fumbling for the wallet.
Exactly. And that same approach can apply.
When you start talking about living arrangements,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
shared expenses,
Absolutely.
open conversations early on.
Set those expectations.
Right. Like you could say, I'm thinking of moving soon,
Okay.
and I'm considering a roommate to help with costs.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel about discussing budgets
Mhm.
and how we'd manage shared expenses?
Great example.
Okay, so we've covered the early stage conversations.
Yeah.
But what about when things get more serious?
More serious. Okay.
You start thinking about long-term goals,
Oh, good.
saving for a house, retirement planning, or even just deciding how much to spend on vacations.
Right.
How do you align on those things
Yeah.
when you might have different priorities or different ideas about risk?
That's when the concept of a shared financial vision comes in.
Share financial vision.
Yeah. It's about creating a roadmap together
Oh,
that outlines your goals.
both individually and as a couple.
Exactly.
I love that idea, a shared financial vision.
It's like a dream board. for your finances.
But creating that vision
Well,
can't always be easy, right?
well, it depends.
What if you disagree about what to prioritize
Yeah.
or how much risk to take?
That's where compromise comes in.
Compromise.
It's about finding that balance
Okay.
that honors both partners' values and goals.
So it's a conversation.
Yeah.
An ongoing one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As life changes,
Mm-hmm.
you might need to revisit
Okay.
and revise those plans together.
Financial planning isn't a one and done thing.
No.
It's dynamic,
Yeah.
ongoing communication.
For sure.
Or collaboration.
Like any other part of a healthy relationship.
Right. It takes effort, understanding, a willingness to be a team.
Couldn't agree more. Actually, I think we should pause here
Okay.
and pick this up after a quick break. All right, we'll be right back.
See you soon.
So before the break, we were talking about financial psychology.
Right. Those money scripts.
Yeah, how do we even start understanding those better?
Well, one thing you can do.
Is think back to your childhood. Try to remember some of the messages you got about it.
Oh, interesting.
Was it seen as something scarce, something to be saved or enjoyed?
Okay.
Was it openly talked about in your family?
Oh, I see.
Or was it like a taboo topic?
Yeah, that makes sense. I can already see how those early messages, could shape our beliefs about money even years later.
Absolutely, they become like ingrained.
Yeah, like part of our financial DNA.
Exactly. And once you've identified those influences,
Okay.
ask yourself, are these beliefs still serving me well?
Mm,
Or are they holding me back?
right, because they could be outdated.
Yeah, for example,
Okay.
if you grew up thinking money is always tight,
Uh-huh.
you might find yourself subconsciously sabotaging your financial success.
Wow, that's a powerful thought. So let's say you've done that inner work.
Okay.
You understand your financial psychology better.
Mm-hmm.
How do you bring that awareness into relationships?
Well, especially when things are new.
Yeah, like early on.
It's about communication.
Okay, again,
Yes, but it's not just about practical information.
like your salary or expenses.
Right, it's about being vulnerable enough
Okay.
to share those deeper feelings you've discovered.
About money.
Yeah,
So it's about opening up about the why.
Yes.
Not just the what.
exactly.
I like that. Okay, give me an example.
Okay, so imagine a couple.
Uh-huh.
One person is a saver,
Okay.
tracks every penny.
Yeah.
The other is more,
Free spirit.
prioritizes experiences.
Oh,
If
yeah.
they don't understand the reasons
Mm-hmm.
behind those different approaches,
Yeah.
it can lead to frustration.
Right, and conflict.
For sure.
That makes sense. It goes back to those financial love languages.
Yeah, exactly.
But what about those situations that are tricky to navigate,
Like what?
especially early on in a relationship?
Oh, I see.
Like, how do you decide who pays for dates?
Right, that's a common one.
Yeah, it can be awkward.
Can be.
So, what do you suggest?
Be upfront. Have an open conversation.
Okay, easier said than done.
I know. But you could say something like,
Okay.
hey, I'm really saving up for insert financial goal, so I'm mindful of my spending.
Uh-huh.
How do you usually approach things?
Oh, that's good. Casual, but honest.
Right.
I like it.
It allows both people to,
Yeah,
express their preferences.
without feeling judged.
Exactly.
No more awkward fumbling for the wallet.
Exactly. No more of that.
And that same approach works
Uh-huh.
when you start talking about living arrangements,
For sure.
shared expenses.
Yeah, have those open conversations early.
Like what? Give me another example.
You could say,
Okay.
I'm thinking of moving,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm considering a roommate to help with costs.
Yeah.
How would you feel about discussing budgets
Okay.
and how we'd manage shared expenses?
Makes sense. So we've covered early stage conversations,
We have.
but what about when things get more serious?
Okay.
You start thinking about long-term goals,
Right, like those big financial milestones.
saving for a house, retirement,
Mm,
even planning for a family.
okay.
How do you approach those conversations?
That's when it becomes even more crucial
Yeah.
to create that shared financial vision.
Right, the roadmap.
Exactly.
Well, we talked about earlier.
Sit down together, maybe once a month
Okay.
or once a quarter,
Regularly.
and have a money date.
Ooh, I like that. A money date.
It's a dedicated time
Okay.
to talk about your finances.
Makes it less random.
Less stressful, too.
Yeah, I can see that.
During those dates,
Okay.
you can discuss your goals.
Individual and shared.
Yeah, review your budget, track your progress,
Oh, that's good.
address any concerns.
So it's like a check-in to
Exactly.
make sure you're on the same page.
You got it.
But those money dates,
Hmm.
they don't have to be all serious, right?
No, not at all. Make it fun.
Fun.
Yeah, like pour a glass of wine,
Okay.
order takeout, make it enjoyable.
I like that. A financial date night.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm feeling more financially empowered already.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
But I imagine there are still times
Oh, yeah.
when those conversations can be tricky.
They can be.
Like, what if you disagree on saving versus spending?
Yeah, that's common.
Or if one person is more risk averse
Right, that's normal.
when it comes to investing.
You and your partner
Yeah.
are two different people
With different experiences.
and perspectives.
Right.
The key is to approach disagreements
Okay.
with empathy
Okay.
and a willingness to find solutions
My.
that work for both of you.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah,
where both partners feel heard,
absolutely.
respected.
Even if it means
Yeah.
making some compromise.
And sometimes you might need outside help,
Right?
like a financial advisor
Yeah.
or a therapist.
They can provide an objective perspective.
Speaking of guidance,
Yes.
the article mentions a few books
Oh, right. For couples.
who want to improve their financial communication.
Yeah. Yeah, and planning.
Yeah, what were those again?
Let's see. There was the Total Money Makeover
Oh, I've heard of that one.
by Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
It focuses on debt reduction
Mm-hmm.
and financial discipline.
Got it.
And then The Financial Diet
Okay.
by Chelsea Fagan,
Mm-hmm.
which is a more holistic approach to personal finance.
Cool. And any others?
Yeah, for a deeper dive into relationships.
Oh, interesting.
They recommend Attach
Attached. Okay.
by Amir Levine and Rachel Heller.
Okay.
It talks about attachment styles
Mm-hmm.
and how those can influence financial dynamics.
Wow, that sounds really fascinating. We'll definitely include links to those in the show notes
Great idea.
for our listeners.
Yeah, they can check it out.
So it's encouraging to know that there's a whole support system out there
There is.
for couples who want to build a strong financial foundation together.
Absolutely. You're not alone.
As we wrap up,
Yeah.
I think it's important to emphasize this. Financial health is a journey,
It is.
not a destination.
It's ongoing.
There will be bumps,
Oh,
disagreements,
for sure.
unexpected challenges.
Life happens.
But as long as we have
Yeah.
open communication
Mhm.
and that willingness to work together,
So we get team.
we can navigate those challenges.
We can. Exactly. And the more you prioritize those things,
Communication and collaboration,
the stronger your relationship will be.
financially and emotionally.
I couldn't agree more.
It's amazing, thinking about this deep dive,
Uh-huh.
how much we've actually covered.
Yeah, we really went in deep.
We started with that article.
Right. About the burden.
Yeah, the financial burden of dating.
But we've gone way beyond that.
We have. It's not just about one person burdening the other.
No, not at all.
It's about supporting each other,
Financial well-being.
working towards shared goals.
Exactly.
And it's never too early or too late
Right.
to start these conversations.
Whether you're just dating, moving in together,
Hmm.
or been together for years.
Communication is key.
Couldn't agree more.
What if someone's listening and feeling overwhelmed?
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, like where do I even begin?
Oh, I see.
What's one small step they can take today
Okay, just one small step.
to improve financial communication in their relationship?
Start by asking your partner,
Okay.
how are you feeling about our finances?
That's simple.
But it can spark a conversation.
It's open-ended.
Yeah, non-confrontational.
It shows you care
Exactly.
about
yeah.
their perspective,
We're taking that first step.
even if it feels awkward,
It might, but it's worth it.
and you don't have to do everything at once.
No, take it slow.
Small steps.
Build from there.
This has been so insightful.
It has been.
Thank you for sharing your expertise
My pleasure.
and for guiding us through these topics.
Happy to help.
To our listener, we hope this deep dive has been valuable.
We do.
Remember, you're not alone in this.
There's help out there.
Resources available.
And most importantly,
Open communication
with your partner.
can make all the difference.
Financial health is relationship health.
That's a great way to put it.
Invest in both and watch your relationship flourish.
Until next time,
See you then.
keep diving deep.